till the day I die. Hey, swing those hips around. Can't stop, roll back down. My ladies, short, tall, thin or wide. Always down and ready to ride.
Hey everybody, I'm Tim and welcome to Cigars Daily Live, coming to you from sunny Phoenix, Arizona, with a show that will live on in infamy, one that will leave the taste buds tantalized and wanting more, because tonight we're talking about limited edition luxuries that'll be missed after the holidays are gone. Everybody, this time of year, you see cigar makers putting out some unbelievably exciting projects. And around the studio, we are delving into those projects ourselves. But there's a double-edged sword to these limited edition luxuries, and that's that they're here today, gone tomorrow. Once you find a blend that you love, it's hard to hold on to it, because once they're smoked, they're not there anymore. They're gone. It's frustrating. It's the thing that I hate the most about them. But of course, for this episode, my name is Tim. I'm the host of this show, and all of you watching at home, you are the co-host. Your comments and questions will drive this episode, so drop them down below. We're going to get to as many of them as we can. And of course, I could never do this alone. I would never want to do this alone. That would be very lonely. So to help me run this thing behind the camera is Billy, the cock of the walk.
Is that what we're going with?
I don't know if we're going with that.
It's a test run tonight.
I wanted to try it. I wanted to try it out and see how it went. Based on my history with YouTube, it doesn't feel like a good idea. Anyway, there's Billy. Hey. And sitting next to him is El Rey del Terry.
Ooh, the serenade. I feel royal right now. Yes, sir. How you guys doing tonight?
Yes, looking good, man.
No, you were looking good, Tim.
Looking good. And of course, sitting third chair tonight is Ryan, defender of the flat earth. So that box is kind of in the way of your camera shot.
It always is.
There are a number of that was well placed. There are a number of large boxes containing things just around the HQ. They tend to be there for weeks at a time before someone's like, "Are you going to do something with that?"
Weeks, months.
Weeks, months. What's a week or a month to Nicaraguans? It's all the same to us. All right.
I mean, you ain't lying. Yeah. you ain't.
Today, I had a cigar maker tell me that it was like, oh, it's going to be, the end of April, beginning of May before I deliver your cigars. And I said, great. How about April 5th? He's like, okay. All right.
In reality, it's going to be next fall.
Yeah, it'll be next fall. All right, everybody. We've got some limited edition luxuries around the studio here, but I want to hear from all of you first. Comments, questions, drop them down below. Billy is going to pull the best ones. He's going to start right here.
I think Dalton Hopkins had a stroke. You ready to try and interpret what Dalton wrote here?
Okay. Dalton Hopkins says, what's crazy is sake of blends, best blends. Okay, I'm going to try that again. What's crazy is soak of best blends 8V smoked as of late are limited. I've never know if I should smoke them and miss them or not, and never know.
So I agree. Average drunks texter, and I think he says, what's crazy is most of the blends I've smoked as of late are limited.
Terrence, are you interpreting drunk text for us right now?
I do it pretty frequently. So
You're doing a great job.
Are you drunk
making a lot more sense. All right, go for it.
I never know if I should smoke them and miss them or not and never know. And I would just err on the side of just do it. They're rolled to be burned, right? I would, if I were in your shoes, I would definitely want to understand the experience and get as many different experiences as I possibly would be able to have. So I would err on the side of just.
I could not agree with you more. And that's exactly how I feel about my collection. When I think about the cigars that I've got at home, and I get it. Like I get I'm looking at a cigar. Should I smoke this or should I just look at it forever? I've got some cigars that are like that. My 1980s Cuban Davidoff Lanceros are that way. I look at them. I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever smoke these. My Plasencia Omotepe that comes in the sex toy tube.
Oh, I see it up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got one of those at home. That thing may never get smoked. I only got one. If I had two, maybe I'd pick a friend. I don't know. For sure, for me, the ones that just sit on the shelf are like my historic ones, like my $100,000 cigar. People have heard me talk about that.
Mhm.
I've got some old cigars from back in the day, like old projects I've done. I tend to just sit and look at those. When it comes to my collection, though, of limited edition cigars, I tend to get down to the last one or two, and I can't part with them.
Yeah.
I still have Monte Cristo Espada signatures from 2022.
But they're gonna be coming back.
They're well, I think they already came back and went. We might have missed them.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was talking with Monte Cristo about that last week. It seems like a damn shame.
You were speaking of money.
I say, smoke them. I say smoke. I like to smoke those limited edition cigars because no matter what, once that limited edition project goes away, something else is going to come along.
Mhm.
That's actually a big part of what this episode is about. Some limited edition cigars are very timely. And in 2024, there are some really exciting projects coming out. My gosh, what have we got? We got a return of the CAO V23. Those are still out there in the wild.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? That's it. Okay. I figured that you would have one of those tonight.
Look at
Hell
the
yeah.
smile.
In fact,
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to say that's why I put it in the show. How is that treating you?
It's delicious.
You gotta say more about it than that. So I can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it's really good. The it's not quite as punchy. I don't know punchy, but not quite as strong as the Raider 660.
Right.
I feel like it's a little more a little more refined and just a little smoother.
I mean,
flavor.
Subtle.
It has been sitting around for a little bit of I can't do a whole lot. There's so many taboo things around
I know.
screen right now.
I know.
But it has been sitting around for over a year at this point, like a year and a half almost. So it is gonna have that smoothing out as of what they do with age. And
yeah,
well,
it's everything I remember it was a year, and I came out summer of 23.
And Billy, what have you got tonight?
I've got the EP Carrillo Aniversario 15.
Mm.
So earlier this week, Ernesto Perez Carrillo III and Mikey, which is spelled Mique, like he's
Mike.
yeah, he's French. Okay. They were here at the Cigars Daily HQ. They came to town to do a couple things. He told me that cigar particularly has got a 10-year aged wrapper,
Mexican San Andreas. Yep.
15-year aged biners, and 7 different elements in the filler.
Yeah.
It says 7 different kinds of leaves. So where they're using parts of a filler leaf to make that blend. That is one of the most meticulously made blends I've heard described to me, Billy. So I hope that it's wildly complex for you.
You know, on Light Up, I tasted a pastrami sandwich. Like it was so meaty and leathery. It was like smoking meat, and it's not in a bad way, but one of the more complex flavors I've ever picked up.
Umami.
Billy.
Yeah.
That just made my cigar nerd heart just palpitate. You just got a crazy flavor note
Billy
that I could agree to.
Billy went wild complex with that.
Oh
one.
yes, I've had one of those, and yes, I got pastrami sandwich. I Light Up.
Oh.
It does come around. It does mellow out. You get more of like a cocoa like mustiness out of it.
It's gone now.
But that Light Up is something magical. So I would have to agree with that. Billy was bang on.
Boom.
Ooh.
See, I know what I'm doing.
You do. You're learning. You're all. Be careful. Be careful because soon you won't be a non-smoker.
That's
for insurance
true.
purposes.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
I just want to tell everybody, for everybody who's watching at home who wondered about this just about 10 seconds ago while you're watching the episode, yes, when you fist bump Terrence, you have to be very careful. You want to use the knuckle part of normally you're flat on with the fist, but you have to be careful because Terrence's knuckles are like one of those cars from Mad Max. They've just got all kinds of. There's a guy playing guitar on front, and if you get too close, you can easily break a finger. So, Terrence, show off those.
Yeah, sure. I mean, when I fist
Yeah,
bump, I
yeah.
kind of just use the fleshy part of my hand.
Unless he doesn't like you,
Yeah,
just breaks
but-
your hand. Don't do that.
My bad. But like that. It's because I know I got things, and a lot of people go ooh right afterwards. So it's something I've kind of gotten used to.
Yeah, if
Okay.
you forget, sometimes it can be a little painful.
All right, keep them
Yeah.
coming, Billy. What are the other great comments down below? We've got a lot to do on the show tonight, so we're going to get to a
Yes.
few more comments, and then we're going to continue on. By the way, the cigar that I have tonight, we don't even have a picture of it. It is from Foundation. It's called the Knights Commander.
Yeah.
And my gosh,
Ooh.
my gosh, Nick Melillo,
Ooh.
he's still in my heart. He's still in my heart. The
Oh
cigar
my
drives
gosh,
me
that
nuts.
blend
All right,
is amazing.
go for it, Billy. Next comment is coming your way from Scott Goad. Hey, Cigars Daily crew. Does anyone prefer to keep their cigars in cellophane or remove it when you put it in your personal humidor? I don't know why that's a Scott Goad for me. Hi, I'm Scott Goad.
Tubular, dude.
It's tubular. It's fantastic. Scott Goad.
Well, Scott, I keep all mine in my cellophane in my humidor for protection reasons.
Ooh.
Oh.
So they don't impregnate each other with flavor.
So he keeps them to themselves.
You don't want the flavor penetrating the other cigars. All right. Sorry.
Yes, we practice safe storage of
Yeah,
cigars.
I'll tell you this, Scott Goad. I 100% say this all the time. No, Paul says, nah, let him mingle. Paul is riding dirty, as we call it. Okay. Raw.
Raw dogging, if
He's
you
raw
will.
dogging it. I'd say this. I frequently liken the cellophane on a cigar to like a condom. And it's because nobody likes a condom. Everybody likes what it does for them, right? And the cellophane's the same way. It doesn't look as good. It looks a little sterile, and it doesn't really give it that, cigar look that you want to have. At the same time, there's so many benefits to cellophane. It holds humidity in close to the cigar. It doesn't leach out as fast. It protects the cigar from getting mold if there's an over-humidification situation. If one cigar in your humidor happens to have tobacco beetles, they can't spread through the cellophane as easily. And if you drop the cigar, it keeps it from breaking, cracking the foot or something like that to a much greater degree than a naked cigar. So there's enough benefits to it. I pretty much unanimously do that with my collection, and so do my friends. All right, that's pretty good. Billy, is all your cigars in the cellophane?
Yeah, I mean, if it comes in cellophane, yes, I leave them in there, but I don't. There's a few that I know. There's some guys that will like save their cellophane to then put other cigars. I don't.
Yeah,
do
don't
that.
reuse.
What
your
about
cellophane. That's
Billy?
wrong.
What about packs though? Because like when I get the cheroots, I do take those out of the pack. That way I can just grab them. And
But in the traditional cheroot has the cellophane within the cellophane. It's like cellophane inception. So I do
Mhm.
take it out of that.
You got some OGs right there. Yeah.
I see a few people that says always in the cellophane, and I highly respect that. That is a connoisseur statement.
I will say
right
the
there.
only time I've ever had a mold issue is on cigars without cellophane.
Yeah, I noticed the same thing. Like cigar, when there's mold, it's almost never on a cigar that's in cellophane. Like I can't think of the last cigar that I pulled out of the cellophane and was like, ooh, that's no good.
You know what transmits mold very easily are the little cigarillo cardboard boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Those, for whatever reason, in those cardboard boxes, they get mold much faster than anything else.
You damn straight. All right, keep it coming. Give me a couple more comments, and then we got to jump into the pick of the week. Kirby's Corner says, Tim, what's new with the Oliva Advent calendar? I know it's late for an Advent, but I like them to fill my humidor. So I can answer more about that on the after party.
Mhm.
There we go.
There we
That's
go.
it.
All right, cool. Next comment, Billy.
Keep it going. Marty Winley. I'm a flavor-infused cigar guy. I'm also Krusty Krab. All right. And occasionally smoke a non-flavored cigar, but would love your opinion on natural sweet cigars. Yar. Naturally sweet cigars. So for me, this is a really wide-ranging topic because you talk about, so there's flavored and infused, which is you've already identified. You're a fan of them. Then there's sweet tipped cigars, which have like a sweetened cap on them. And then there's natural cigars that have a natural sweetness to them. And a cigar with a very natural sweetness, to me, almost every wrapper type can have some natural sweetness. Connecticut Shade can come with a really good natural creamy sweetness to the wrapper leaf without any infusion. On the total opposite end of the spectrum, a really high quality broadleaf and really nice Mexican San Andres will also offer a nice present sweetness. Even in the middle of the road, a great example of this is a medium strength cigar is the Earth by Oscar. The Daily Edition one has got a filler leaf from Copan, Honduras. It's a growing region in Honduras where the leaf is known for having a very abundant sweetness to it. And so for me, this is a high value in a cigar. A good complex flavor profile should have a very present sweetness to it that sort of underlies the whole flavor. I want a flavor that's got lots of complexity to it. I want a flavor that's got some diverse notes. You know, you can have cedar and almonds. Those are nice together. But if you can get cedar and almonds along with some vanilla, maybe even some cooking spices in there, that's an interesting flavor. But sweetness to me is pretty important to all of that. And to me, it really ends up being the difference between, you know, bourbon. Bourbon tends to be on the sweeter side. I like scotches, but I don't like really peaty, really smoky scotches because I like that sweetness about the flavor, even when it comes to a scotch. My favorite scotch, the Duncan
Taylor 18.
Oh, the Duncan Taylor 18 year does have that little bit of sweetness to it. And so that's one thing that I look for. And when I review cigars, I tend to, I'm drinking this too fast. I tend to identify that pretty readily and pretty quickly. That was a great comment. All right, keep dropping your cigar comments and questions down below because we're going to keep coming back to them. But not before we jump into a segment we do every week on this show called the Cigars Daily Nation Pick of the Week. All right, I got two of these tonight.
Cool.
First one comes from the Facebook group, and here's a hint. So does the second one. Cigars Daily Nation Facebook group. Here's your first pick of the week. This one is from Michael J.S. He's smoking a cigar, and there's a jackass looking over his shoulder. He says, does anyone else smoke cigars with their donkeys? Just me? I want you to know that I saw this and immediately said, yes, there are some Democrats that go to cigar shops.
Oh, good.
But also because Democrats proudly wear the donkey as their thing. What is the Republican one? Is it an elephant?
Elephant.
All right. And the middle one's a rhinoceros, right? The rhinos are the guys that are neither. Why does the middle guy get to be a rhino? That's what I want to know. Why are they
cool one?
Because they're the cool, the guys who don't take a side on anything and just live in the middle. They're the cool ones.
No, let me see.
Are you gonna fact check
I'm
this real
fact
quick?
checking you.
There we go.
Also, can you put that back up there, Terrence?
Yeah, I most definitely can.
Smoking with a donkey is very cool, and I think that donkey, whose name is clearly Pepper, presumably Pepper Pig, is absolutely adorable. But so
It's not a pig.
I know, but it's clearly on a farm. There's another donkey in the back, or that donkey's got an unbelievably long neck. I don't know.
They did one of the panoramic shots, and the donkey's just really long.
Yeah. All right, we'll come back to Billy on the fact check. Now, we've also been visiting some people's cigar tents this time of year. This is where people are building their own temporary cigar lounge so that they can continue enjoying a cigar through the winter months. And this, as half the country is apparently under a severe storm watch where there's like 65 inches of snow predicted or something like that. Have you seen this?
What is the snow you speak?
You don't spend nearly enough to, what is this snow that you speak of? You don't spend enough time on TikTok. I can tell.
Oh,
okay. You're going to have to beef up your TikTok hours.
Oh, okay.
What if I don't have the TikTok app downloaded? There we go.
Get rid of your Android phone and get an iPhone. I think it comes preloaded.
And
Anyway,
I deleted it.
so cigar. I literally saw a guy who was standing up to his nips in snow, reporting on the snow the other day, and you could tell he wasn't faking it because the house next to him, the door was 2/3 covered. Yeah. And so building a cigar tent, I see a lot of people this year who are like, so glad I did this year. And this is a great one. I wanted to show you guys. I don't think we've shown any of this person's cigar tent before. This is from Lisa Ryan E. Says this. Took me a bit to get the smoke to vent properly. What you're looking at here is one of these Eskimo tents. These seem to be the most popular cigar tents out there. I think they're incredibly warm. This one's done very well. You can see a regular patio chair. There's a carpet inside this one. Got himself a little heater, a little, it looks like an iPad, and a little side table. I mean, it's done exactly right. It's not dirty. It's very well put together. his wife could probably sit in here and feel comfortable, or she designed the damn thing because it looks like a man didn't put this together. I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
there's
say
an
that.
ottoman for you to put your feet up.
Well,
like.
it's Lisa Ryan.
Yeah,
so
they
they're-
share a Facebook account.
Yeah.
You gotta figure that, right? So says took me a bit to get the smoke to vent properly. Moved the heater with a fan and added an air purifier. USB fan above the chimney hole. Sorry. And it's working perfectly. That just sounds like a funny euphemism. If you're on the fence about setting one up, you won't be disappointed. Enjoy your evening, everyone. Anyway,
Chimney hole.
chimney hole.
Santa gets stuck in the chimney hole sometimes.
Yeah, I'm going to use that one next time I'm farting in bed. Oh, my chimney hole.
Oh, you need to wipe better, Tim.
Yeah, yep. There's a lot of soot. Okay. One of the better.
Why do you look like Dick Van Dyke from Mary Poppins?
Well, to everybody who's done their hashtag cigar tents, I got to tell you, if people are making cigar tents and they're finding that they're getting better, life out of their love for cigars, I love that. I see a lot of people this year who are like, I didn't do this last year. I'm so glad I did it this year. It's a tent you set up on your back porch or on the back lawn, or hell, I've seen people do it on their stoop of their apartment complex, whatever it is that makes it so you can enjoy your passions and your hobbies. That's a great thing. Okay. I've gotten a notification, guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wonder of what.
I've gotten a notification on my phone.
Oh, here we go.
My phone has just notified me that my coffee sitting next to me in this mug right here is 135 degrees. And I want to tell you about a product for which I am not sponsored. This is not a sponsored content. I have not been paid or incentivized in any way to tell you what I'm about to tell you, other than that I think that this is absolutely marvelous. This is an Ember coffee mug. It tells me through my phone, through an app, that my coffee is at 135 degrees. It notifies me when my coffee is at my perfect temperature. But also, it has an internal battery that maintains that temperature of my coffee down to the very last sip, which means that every sip of coffee that I had out of this coffee mug is going to be the exact perfect temperature of coffee for me. And so I proudly tell you about Ember's coffee mug. They're amazing. Also, they're on sale somewhere. I forget where. I don't know if it was Amazon or Costco. I don't know.
That's so weird that you could talk about
So
Ember coffee mugs and say where you got those from.
Billy pulls the comments. I don't. Is that a vibrating, or have I put him?
No,
to sleep?
that's putting him to sleep.
Okay. Gail Sack. Sorry. Wow. Thank you, Trader Ryan. I appreciate that a whole lot. This
It
coffee
could
is a
be
perfect
like a
temperature.
wow. All right.
Wow. Was that an eye roll?
I think it might be an eye roll.
Was that eye
Here you
roll
go,
emoji?
Rooster's happy.
Okay, I'm sold. I need one now. Thank you, Rooster. For the love of God. Some people. All right. Costco Timothy from Allison.
I only
Thank
want
you.
one if I can get a CD logo on it.
I'll tell you this. I saw this in a Best Buy a year or so ago, and it was like $120. And I thought, what a great idea. Of course, I will never spend $120 on a coffee mug. But then my parents got me one for my birthday this year. They got it at Costco for like 70 or 80 bucks. I use it every single day. And I take the most delight out of that last sip of coffee. You know, the last sip of coffee is always cold. Listen, you can roll your eyes at this as much as you want, and you can put in your snoring comments. Go to town, because I'll tell you, the second that your last sip of coffee is just as hot as the first sip of coffee, you will have seen the light. Once again, I'm not incentivized to say this in any way. I just want to share it with you because I'm passionate about it. And that's
So what
this
if
channel
somebody
is.
drinks iced coffee? Then their coffee's always the same temperature.
Then it's room temperature by the time it's watered down by the time you're done. It's all like watery and milky. Ugh.
Swoosh it
Yeah,
around.
you gotta, or you just chug it. It's iced coffee. You could just all gone. Like it sounds just. I don't know.
Okay. Well, anyone who drinks iced coffee, and I know that there's probably 100 of you at least watching, that's insane. Okay. Let's keep
I
going.
just burn my tongue like a man.
Hold on. I want to get Matt Coins. You sound hormonal. I'm excited about it. All right.
Tim,
Tim,
rest
you
of the
drink too slow from Kevin. I do drink too slow because typically I'm in pairing mode. In the morning, I have my coffee in this coffee mug. I got a cigar going and I'm clickety clacking away on my laptop. I get here typically an hour or two before everybody else, which just gives me time to really get things done. And so, yes, I drink my coffee abhorrently slow. Is this Billy's only going to pick comments of people who are picking on me right now? Grim said, wait, is Tim drinking an energy drink and coffee at the same time tonight? Oh, yeah. How could I
Get ready, Allison.
How could I not? Yeah, Allison, get ready. What was my
Chimney hole.
My chimney hole's gonna be going off later. Okay. All right.
Oh no!
I think it's more like a lint trap because I'm gonna be peeing. All right, what are we doing? I have had
Billy,
a
what's the
lot of
next comment
caffeine during this
looking?
show. The after party, I'm gonna crash. I'm just gonna be like, all right, go for it, Billy. Dylan Neal.
You need to do a Canadian accent.
Okay, yeah, okay. From Canada there, eh? Every time I travel, meeting Americans always ask if I do have access to Cubans. Okay, yeah, okay. I say yes, but
Sorry.
they're 50 to 100 Canadian dollars per stick. Okay, yeah, thanks. Sorry. Funny because I traveled to the States or South for cigars. All right, there you go. Thanks now.
Sorry.
Sorry. It's like a mix of Kermit the Frog. It's like Canadian Kermit the Sorry, you guys. So smartest Canadians, I think, are doing this type of thing. The Canadians are allowed to take 50 cigars over the border without incurring taxes. Taxes on Canadian cigars, as far as I can tell, are determined by some sort of witchcraft. They reach back to an ancestor. The ancestor tells them how they feel about it, and then they interpret that with some bones that they shake and
They
roll
check
out
the
on
chicken
table.
bones in a bowl
Yeah.
and throw them down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they throw out the chicken bones and like that's $600.
I thought they just had a big wheel of different prices and they cut a chicken's head off and they let it run around and
It
whatever
runs
falls
around
on.
it's a cow plop.
Yeah.
They put a cow on a football field, and wherever it takes a dump, that's how much you pay. I agree, Billy. I think you probably got it right. In Canada, it don't make any sense at all. Okay. One thing we haven't gotten to tonight, and I want to get this from Terrence. Terrence, what did you light up for the show? Have you told us about this?
No, I haven't.
What is it, dude?
I've been a little
Everybody wants to
gatekeeping.
know.
I'm a little gatekeepy tonight, but I know I got a graphic for it somewhere on here. I've got the Alec Bradley. Oh, didn't
You
put it
didn't
up.
post it. There you
There we go. I didn't get it up. I got the Alec Bradley Fine and Rare. And
Fine and rare.
my goodness, I had one of these for Thanksgiving and I thought it was really enjoyable. It has like a nice natural wrapper sweetness like we were talking about earlier, but like the oakiness that I get from it is absolutely fantastic. I want to say this has got to be barrel aged. Like just the aroma of the unlit cigar made me think that it was like had like dipped in bourbon or cognac or something. It was fantastic smell and I've just really enjoyed it, and I'm going to be sad when I can never have another one again. So I might have to finagle a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you had this
Figure that
yet,
out.
Tim?
I have.
Oh my gosh.
I felt like that was really loud. Listen.
Sorry. I was just getting real deep and close to the mic.
Real nice.
Oh yeah.
I think the fine and rare is very good. Anytime a brand puts out they're going to call it the fine and rare, you better bat for the fences. Like it had better be the cigar with the leaf that only grows on the peak of a certain mountain or something like that. I mean, it's like you can't just make another cigar and call it fine and rare. Alec Bradley has been making this cigar for years now. And now this is the first year. Is it the first year that they've put it out since STG acquired Alec Bradley?
Yes.
They did a good job. They
yes.
and seemingly STG hasn't fussed with Alec Bradley a ton. You know, the Filthy Hooligan came out. It was reliably, as it has been, good.
Yep.
They released that Filthy Gooligan. I think that one was someone's back pocket somewhere.
Yep.
All right. Phil DeYoung says, there goes Tim's heart rate through the roof. I'm going to put this out there. You guys can request my heart rate anytime. I can read it to you. It's currently 68 beats per minute.
That's actually really fast.
65 beats per minute. That's pretty fast.
Everybody else with their smartwatches are checking their heart rates right now. What a bunch of fitness nerds in the room.
I'm at 67.
67.
Ryan.
What?
What's
What's
your
your heart rate right now?
80.
80? That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
All right, I guess
Resting
I gotta
heart
check
rate?
mine because I also. Oh, I'm the little bird in the room because I'm at 97.
You little.
My heart's gonna pop out my chest.
All right. Get us some more comments, Billy. And we got a few headlines to go through.
Oh
and a few
yeah.
more things to do as well.
Yes, sir.
There's a request coming in, Tim.
Uh-oh.
I live to serve my wife. The Wrench. Allison Swanson says, Tim, can you please bring me home some Stillwell Star? Yeah. Okay. Yes.
There you go.
That's
Don't
not
forget.
the first time she's asked me that.
No, she's been like bombing us in the chats.
Has she?
Yeah.
You got to convince her to super chat for.
No, she's super chatting with our money. When I say our money, I mean my money. All right.
When they ask you what you want for Christmas, what would you like for Christmas? For you to not spend the damn money.
Yeah, that's the idea. Lil Spence says 60s is low. You folks are healthy. My resting heart rate is like 47 beats a minute. You're 40, 44, 80 beats a minute. Borgie. Allison says 84. Yeah, she's a little butterfly as well. All right. Keep on posting your cigar comments and questions down below. We are going to get to as many of them as we can for this episode. Billy is looking for the best ones. Billy, you can feel free to bring them up through this episode as much as you can. Tonight, we are talking about some of the most limited editionist cigars. Of course, the Wrench asks me about the Stillwell Star Holiday Y24, a Christmas morning cigar. You want to talk about a cigar that's got natural sweetness to it?
Mm-hmm.
The Stillwell Star Holiday Y24 uses aromatic pipe leaf to craft a really, really exotic blend. Something much more akin to lighting up a pipe than a cigar. And it's got the flavor profile I would describe as sweet, vanilla, peppermint. It's like lighting up Christmas morning. And Steve Saka did the same blend this year that he did last year on the Stillwell Star for the holiday. Got a lot of requests for it. Glad he brought it back. He made that Y22 a regular production cigar. Yep. That one was a slam.
Yep.
Slam.
I like the 22.
That was the like the 22.
I like the 22
One
a
we
good
said-
amount, but I like the 23 because I'm gonna say a weird flavor note. Pillsbury Christmas cookies. You know, the ones that are just painted on with the different design and they all come out round.
Oh, yeah.
Like second, third tastes exactly like one of those. And I just enjoy it a whole lot. Oh, here goes Tim with his
Jake Roberts. Sorry, I'm drinking coffee out of my Ember coffee mug. It's 135 degrees. It could be hotter if I wanted it to be. Jake Roberts says, Tim, can you also bring me home some of those Stillwell steaks? Anytime, Jake. I'll be right there with my, what was my word again?
chimney hole.
My chimney hole. Bring my chimney
Trying
hole
for my
over there.
cold dead chimney hole.
I need to write that down somewhere. I keep
And a
forgetting
bow
it.
on his head. And that's it.
All right.
This next one I'm going to read because it'll be more fun for me to read than put it up. This is from Rooster. Terrence has got me experimenting. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Hey.
Hey.
Did you show him the chimney hole?
Oh, Terrence, did you just learn about the chimney hole? Terrence has got me experimenting with different root beers now.
Oh, wait. What about me gets people wanting to try root beer? I am you don't want root beer because of me. Like what? There's like 3 different kinds. Why are you trying more?
I think there's more than 3 different kinds. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I will not find out what they are. At least not in this room. Or in my
On root
office.
beer. Dang it.
Should have just left it.
Should have just left
You
it.
could have left it, Tim. I like helping Rooster experiment.
Yeah, he's going to be the Rooster. Once you go Maduro. Oh, wow.
Hey,
Oh,
Maduro
wow.
just mean ripe. You know what I mean?
That's not what he was saying, but I like where your head is at. Dear Lord. All right. Keep them coming. We got time. And then we got a few headlines. We got to hit some important things happening in the cigar industry. So keep posting your cigar comments and questions. Billy, what else are the fine people saying?
Here we go.
This one's from John Eden. John says, question. Every once in a while, I get a cigar that develops a tarry bitter resin at the cut end of the head of the cigar. This has descended into a summer sensational movie blockbuster trailer.
In a world,
I check humidity. This summer, I check humidity level, and there's no correlation. Any idea why this happens? So I did a video where I called Steve Saka and I recorded him talking about this. And I told him I was going to record it. And I told him I was going to put it on the internet, but also he wasn't listening to me, and that's not abnormal. But he explained it pretty well. Essentially, inside of a cigar, you've got leaves running lengthwise through the cigar. That's your filler leaves. Now, often those contain some of the, I call them stems, veins, whatever you want to call them. And inside of those, you can get moisture trapped. And if that moisture what Steve Saka says if that moisture starts to like decay or like rot, then it will develop that very black, It lights like tar. It's
Yeah.
ultra bitter. It's black on the. You can touch the cap of the cigar, and you've got like black ooey gooey goos on your finger,
Yep.
and it's like something that comes out of a chimney hole,
Ugh.
and a wet chimney hole, and so this is bad. This is like get rid of the cigar. If I had a cigar like this, I'd be getting rid of it. I'd throw it out. I'd find another one. And it's something that can happen typically because of too much moisture, and it's rotting stuff, and it's no good. Similar to if you've got white fuzzy stuff growing in the folds of the leaf at the foot of the cigar, that also is not plume, that's mold. Get rid of it.
Chuck
Just
it,
a couple.
don't suck it. Yep.
Yeah. Allison says moisture. Thank you, love. You're the best. All right, we're going to come back to your cigar comments and questions. Eric Metzger says, giggity. And we're going to keep taking those. Drop them down below. We're going to get back to them. All around the studio, we're enjoying some really good limited edition blends. You can learn more about what we're talking about on the community on Cigars Daily Plus as we go there for the after party in a little bit. That's where we're going to continue this episode on our own platform to be out from the fuzzy rules of big tech. But I need to take you guys inside some big stuff that's going on right now in the coming weeks and months as we talk about the headlines. Here's what's happening in cigars today. There's a few things, some really exciting. Some of them are a little bit concerning. I'm not going to lie. But you guys can drop your comments and questions about these down below. Let's take the first one there. Ooh, this one, I didn't know how long it would be before I saw this happen in the United States.
Oh, wow.
I've covered this on a number of other countries around the world that have
Mhm.
attempted this, but the headline is this: Massachusetts generational tobacco ban bill coming next year. For those who are not familiar with this idea of a generational ban on something, the way it works is this. Terrence, you can take that down.
Yes, sir.
You take something. So first of all, our government has learned that you can't outlaw something. If you just flat out outlaw something, you effectively just create an illegal market for it. I'm talking about, of course, prohibition. I've talked about that before on the show, but this is prohibition. In the early 1900s, the government said, we're not going to do alcohol anymore. It's illegal unless a doctor prescribes it for demons. And then, so nobody could drink alcohol. And then Al Capone comes along and creates a tens of millions of dollars a year industry in the 1930s selling illegal alcohol. So you can't just outright outlaw something. It doesn't work. The idea behind a generational tobacco ban is that they, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Successively increase the age at which you can purchase tobacco every year. So it would start off like, let's say that 21 this year is what? 2003. If you're born in 2003, then you're 21 years old. So they set it at 2003. Next year, the age at which you can buy tobacco goes up to 2004. The year after that, it goes up to 2005. So if you're 21, you'll always be old enough to get tobacco if you want to get it. If you aren't 21 this year, you'll never be old enough to buy it, no matter how old you get. By the time you're 50, you have to be 51 to buy it. Now, this presents, I think, some obvious issues. Like, how the hell do you tell the difference between a person who's 50 and a person who's 51 unless you card every living, breathing person that walks through the door, which is not something that I think they would be against telling you got to do. Right now, the law is at any, I think, tobacconist, you have to card anyone who looks like they're younger than 27. So, you know, they not only have to have a beard, but they have to have that like saggy, depressed eyes of having been divorced once already and having two kids.
Look like me without glasses.
Yeah, Terrence without glasses. Yeah, they got to look like they've been crushed by the world. That's about the look of a 27-year-old, right? Like somebody who walks in, they're a little stooped over a little bit. If they're upright and perky, they're definitely not.
Ryan tends to look upright and perky.
Ryan does?
Yeah.
No, he's seen some things.
He's seen some things. Yeah.
Ryan looks like he's been through a couple of recessions before. I get it. I get it.
Well, there you go.
I remember when gas was under $1.
So, and Billy, you can interrupt me and take some comments for this as you see them come through. I'm surprised to see this coming out in Massachusetts. You can read more about this on Half Wheel. That's where the article comes from. But this is concerning because they've successfully done this in one city or county in Massachusetts. As far as I know, all of the countries where they've tried this, Says F for my life. Yeah. Everywhere where they've tried this, being like, I think Australia and New Zealand and Great Britain, they talked about it. They tried to do it, and then they eventually decided not to do it. So I don't know anywhere where it's been done successfully yet. Brenton H says, that'll be going to the Supreme Court. And again, in America, we have this whole like balance of justice and executive power, balance of powers that, seems to kind of work. Yeah. Ageist law from Corey B. I don't know how you don't call it that. I mean, for sure. Yeah. It seems kind of bizarre, but this is like, again, if you can't outright outlaw something, you've got to just regulate it until it's impractical to do. And if you just do that, eventually people will just, I think the thinking is people will just give up and not even try to do it. Kyle says, Massachusetts bordering states tobacco sales be like, me.
Stonks.
Stonks. Yes. Yes, Billy.
All right. Any more of those?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot coming in.
There's a lot of them. Too many. Okay. Gail Sack says tariff. We're going to put tariffs on Massachusetts. Brian says someone backed baby into a corner. I would say so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on over there.
Not related to this, but I think this is a very poignant question.
There we go.
Slindy says, Allison, how many voices does Tim talk to you in, and does it drive you crazy?
Can you answer for Allison?
The only voice I talk to Allison is when I talk to her, I go like this. She loves it when I do that. All right. Let's see. Whoops. I got that. Massachusetts who? I got Allison says, even with all that caffeine, my sweet husband will still come home and go right to sleep.
I don't think she's seen the question yet.
No, she hasn't. She'll be responding to that. We'll get it.
She's typing right now.
I super love it. All right. Let's keep cruising. Next headline. This big one's coming from Ernesto Perez Carrillo. If you guys saw that I had Ernesto Perez Carrillo III on the channel this week, it was great having him in along with Mikey, one of the blending members of the team over at EP Carrillo. They are putting out early next year. This says EP Carrillo's new Perez Carrillo Endure line appears at retail. Not entirely true. I think there's a shop somewhere in the God's green earth with that. But they're next year, sometime January or February, they're talking about this new cigar. And once again, this is like a ultra premium cigar. It's got 6 different elements in the filler and uses a real Cameroon wrapper from Marafil. Marafel. Thank you. I knew you knew the name of that because you corrected me the last time I said it. Marafel Cameroon in Africa. As far as I know, there's only 2 brands out there that use real African Cameroon and not Cameroon seed grown somewhere in Latin America. So most of the time when you see Cameroon, that means, is it limited? I think this is a regular production cigar, Dalton. That means that, they took the Cameroon seed and they're growing it in Honduras. They're growing it in Nicaragua. They still call it Cameroon. The only 2 families I know that use real African Cameroon are Arturo Fuente and now EP Carrillo.
And funny enough, the Mirafel family has a monopoly on all that Cameroonian leaf. They're the family who grows it in SAF. And so when Fuente wants it, they have to get it from the Mirafel family. So that's why that's such an important name for this cigar, because it's genuine African grown Cameroon.
Excellent. Excellent, Terrence. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yes.
All right. Looking forward to that cigar. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Ernesto gave me one of those while he was here.
And
have it in my humidor in my office.
Oh,
I'm going to light it up, but I don't know when because I only have one of them.
Can I take a puff off yours?
Once again, limited edition cigars. I'm looking at it rather than lighting it up, but I do plan on smoking it.
Do you want to do it with everyone in the room?
So you got. Well, I'm not going to puff past.
Maybe we could put straws in it and just
wait. They have like the cigar pipe thing, so we'll just put it in the end of the cigar pipe.
There you go.
And then take it out and hand it to the next guy.
That's actually not a bad idea. Allison says no sharing slobbery cigars. She doesn't want to kiss all you mofos. She only wants to kiss me.
That's why we get the Pygars, the cigar pipes. Yeah.
Dude, Jim got a bunch of those today.
I mean, it's an idea. It's not a terrible one either.
He got some cool ones.
He
all right.
Some cool ones.
Austin says African Cameroon, decadent. It is very demure of them. Okay.
Very mindful.
Very mindful. I want to give you guys, I want to bring you up, by the way, before I tear you back down. So I'm just going to step you up with one more, a new release. And I'm curious, drop it in the comments. Is anybody excited to hear about this? Sobremesa Solita Red, slated for 2025.
Woo.
Now, typically in a calendar year, of all the cigars that come out, Steve Saka's new releases are some of the most anticipated, some of the most looked forward to. And now Steve has successfully come out with these limited production versions, not like a single limited run, but limited production. He only makes so many per year of the Sobremesa Brûlée. He made the Sobremesa Brûlée Blue. Of the Mi Querida, in addition to the Mi Querida Blue and the red, he's now got the Mi Querida Black. And now he's adding to this tradition with the Mi Querida Solita Red. Looks like a very, very dark, robust cigar just from the pictures. The packaging, of course, is quite striking. But I'm curious, are people excited about this? I want to know. Ready to try that from Quickening. Already. Oh, yeah, already. Bunch of cigars I will overpay for from Brian. Well, all right.
That's fair. Yeah.
And Dalton Hopkins says, yes, Saka Slay. Okay. Saka Slay from Little Spencer. Allison says, si, senor. And Lalo Vasquez just says smoke with a period. That's a full sentence right there. Gail Sack says, no.
Gail's coming in strong.
Gail's coming in strong with a solid no and no explanation about it. Enough said.
Enough said.
I respect that. Well, I did, as I did promise. I want to bring you guys up before I bring you back down. Some tragic news in the world of cigars. Might be tragic for you. It might not be. Hopefully it's not for Gail. She knows what she likes. She knows what she doesn't like. God, I hope Gail's a woman now. STG discontinues CAO OSA, Soul, CAO Session, Diesel Grind, and other.
No.
This is part of the of what goes on in cigars, right? We're trimming the cigar plant, as it were. Every cigar maker will eventually look at their over-encumbered catalog of different blends they put out and say, what can we cut off? Especially as they look at creating new, exciting projects. It's what these people do. They sit down and they blend cigars. And that's what a lot of them spend a lot of their time doing. So I'm on halfway. I'm looking at halfway right now. It says CAO OSA Soul is going by the wayside. CAO Session is going away. That was one of Rick Rodriguez's final CAO blends, I believe, before he left CAO for West Tampa. The Diesel Grind, which I have to tell you, that's the most painful one for me.
Agreed.
I love the Diesel Grind.
Actually, that Osa Soul hurts my heart a bit just because like that was like the first cigar I ever got like a butter note from.
Ooh.
And it like just really like it has that San Augustine wrapper leaf on it. So it's a little bit different than just regular Mexican San Andreas. And it just the striking packaging of the white, the green, the black. Oh, that one breaks my heart for sure. That's a great stogie right there.
There's a typo and it makes it that much better.
Melnox says STG did a hostile pipe and cougar tobacco takeover. Yeah, STG is, I don't think violating monopoly laws right now, but I think they might be a little aware
They're
of
like
that.
the Disney of cigars. This is only like 51% market share. This is nothing crazy.
This is another, so here's another really difficult one for me. Furthermore, individual Vitolas are being axed as well. The CAO Cameroon Churchill, that's going away forever. These two are really difficult for me. Hoyo La Amistad Dark Sumatra Espresso and the Dark Sumatra Robusto.
The Robusto.
That to me is the best Hoyo cigar that there is, along with the CAO or the Hoyo La Amistad Gold Rothschild, all going by the wayside. Bye-bye. Bye forever. Going to be gone the rest of the time. That's kind of a bummer.
It is a bummer.
I like that. That Hoyo Espresso is the Hoyo Dark Sumatra is the cigar that got me in love with Hoyo and made me fall in love with the Dark Sumatra wrapper. It's the sole reason that the project I'm working on with Eric Espinosa is a Murcielago with a Dark Sumatra that is a face-meltingly good cigar.
Mm-hmm.
So we're bringing it back. We're going to rebirth the Dark Sumatra wrapper in a really exciting thing. Okay. Billy, keep it coming. Drop your cigar comments and questions down below. That's a little bit of what's going on in the world of cigars today. All right. Gail Sack says Trump wants to put tariffs on Mexico Will that cause cigar prices to rise? I don't think so, because we don't really make many cigars in Mexico. Yeah, I've heard some of this, and without going down a political rabbit hole here, because I don't know enough about this stuff. And just to be clear, I personally have called the last 3 presidential elections completely wrong. Not telling you who I voted for. Who I thought was going to win didn't win all 3 times. And I called the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight wrong. So I'm the last person who should be weighing in on what's going to happen politically. But when it comes to tariffs, it does seem like the talking about tariffs is going to be 10% across the board on everything, along with certain tariffs that seem to be aimed at getting countries to behave in a certain way. Mexico and Canada getting threatened with 25% tariffs about immigration. That's one thing. That's a separate thing. 10% tariffs across the board. The difficult thing with cigars is it's not like there are cigar jobs that we're looking to bring back to America. It's not like Donald Trump's like, well, and now he's an early 1930s guy. Jobs back here right now and opens up some factories in Pennsylvania's 29th district. That's not how this works. Cigars, there's like a couple of cigar factories in Florida, and that's just about it. There's not a lot here. And so this is one industry where a 10% tariff wouldn't necessarily make a lot of sense. So on the after party of the show a while back, somebody asked me who I thought would be, we were talking about who before the election. We're talking about who would be a better or for worse for the premium cigar industry. There wasn't really, I think, a win or a lose for the premium cigar industry in the last election when it comes to tariffs and taxes and pricing. I don't know how this is going to play out, but I don't think it's going to be as simple as painting a brush that just tariffs absolutely everything. It's possible. I don't know. Once again, my specialty is calling things wrong. So I'm trying not to call anything here, but I don't think that we're going to see anything obscene or absurd, especially since Donald Trump Jr. is a proponent of the premium cigar world. Donnie doesn't like cigars himself. He doesn't smoke or drink anything, but Donald Trump Jr.
Well, we've seen presidents do stuff for their sons recently. Just saying.
Hey, pardon me. Pardon me.
Like a birthday party?
Yeah, pretty much.
Consider yourself fully pardoned, Terrence. All right, let's keep going.
Thank you, Dad.
We're going to be headed to the after party pretty damn quick here. It might be an early after party tonight. The Thick Wick says, is there anything in particular that makes a cigar make my lips numb?
Oh,
yeah, good.
Doing
ash
a bump on
shoot.
your cigar?
Ash pipe? Ash shoot? What was it?
Chimney hole.
Chimney hole. Damn it. I can't get this right.
It's
been happening a lot lately. It isn't any one brand. I keep my sticks in a Humidor at 68 to 70%. My lips numb.
I don't know if I've had that.
I think this is just, different. Like, I think that the effects of the nicotine are different for different people. They do different things to different people. Some people get a buzz in the back of their throat. Some people get a little bit of a head rush. It may be a lips numbing thing for you. It doesn't sound like this has been happening to you for a long time, since you said it's been happening a lot lately. It doesn't sound like that's been your total experience in the world of cigars. I don't know, but if it's happening with no particular brand and no particular blend, I would ask if there's something about a daily life that's changed. If there's something about the habit or the routine or the physical chemistry makeup. I don't know, but it seems kind of bizarre. Dalton Hopkins said, bro, you dip in the cap in Coke?
Coca-Cola, yeah.
Coca-Cola? You can get a pardon for that, by the way. Luke Martineau said, Billy got us canceled. Billy, I'm telling on Billy, he got us canceled. All right, let's keep cruising. Give me another comment, Billy. Rooster says, I need one of those kind of cigars. The ones that make your lips numb?
I think everyone's searching for that.
They're
right
expensive.
Yep.
This is actually a good point.
Are you allergic?
Yes.
That made me think that too. And I think that there is an allergic reaction that's possible out there. But again, if that doesn't happen to you on the regular, I would say that's something changed, because it sounds like it's sort of popped up all of a sudden. Billy, will you take and read the next comment for me?
Yes, I would be happy to. This one is from Edwin the Seventh.
I was going to say
he's
Edwin.
a 7th. Okay, new to cigar game, and I need help. I have a Need 1 32-liter Humidor.
23 liter.
23. Thank you. It's
Just
very hard
checking-
to read on these. I'm just saying.
You put the sexy and dyslexia, Billy.
With two 72%, 320 gram Bovida packs with my Govee hygrometer, says I'm averaging 65%. I'm trying to get to 67%. You know, when you get down to those like 1%, 2% gains, it becomes a daily chore to like fine tune your humidor.
It's
Just saying.
There's a little bit of fine tuning everybody does to get the humidor right where they want it. And I talk about this with humidors. Just you have to fuss with it, and eventually you kind of figure it out and get it. If I was in that situation, I've got my Bovidas, they're 72%, so you're way overshooting with the percentage. You've got your refrigerated humidor thing that has a refrigerator door seal. That's good. I would wonder if your temperature is maybe a little bit low, maybe pushing the temperature up 1 or 2 degrees. The other thing I might do is take just a dish of distilled water, just a small dish that those things come with a dish. I would put that in there and I would see what the effect is. I would imagine you're probably trying to save space, trying not to, take up a bunch of space with a little dish. Even a shot glass of distilled water can make that difference. When you're trying to dial in just 2%, it's like little things are going to make all the difference in the world. You can overshoot it and suddenly the thing's at 69, 70%. You're like, that was too much. NY Diesel in Florida says, I don't chase the humidity. It'll drive you nuts.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with that because personally at 65%, I am like as happy as a, I couldn't think of anything appropriate to say on the internet. I'm happy as I can be with 65%. Like to me, that's an ideal humidity. My humidor at home is set to 66% exactly. Leroy says, bro, enjoy your smokes. You're close enough. You'll enjoy them either way.
That's what I'd say. Unless you're like a highly tuned cigar smoker, you're not going to notice 2%.
Exactly. Or just chuck another 60 gram of the 72 in there and see what that does. But either way, your cigars are going to be just fine. I think you're close enough, right? I think that's going to be just fine.
See, Luke says 67 is good and all, but 69 is where it's at.
I mean, it is a nice round number.
69. I don't, and again, this is a total matter of preference when it comes to humidity. But the big thing with this is that humidity, it makes a bigger deal the longer you've been doing this. Like after 20 years, I am at the point, it's actually 22 years now. 22 years on my birthday. I've been into cigars longer than I haven't been into cigars. Isn't that cool? All right, never mind. Doesn't matter. So for me, humidity makes a big deal. But as long as I'm in the 65-ish% range, like I'm a happy camper. If I get closer to 70%, I can tell the cigars feel smushy. So I'm looking for mid 60s. And if my 65 is like spooning from Melnox,
it's necessary.
It's necessary.
It's necessary.
Is that because it feels safe?
I think it just means it's different than 69.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I see what you're saying
okay.
there.
Get it?
66% would be spooning then.
Yes.
Yes.
69% would be just fine. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Billy, take another comment for the love of God. Jim Smith says, hi, Tim. When will you do a follow-up on the King G 2200 Humidor?
Can
I need to
answer
do
this
that.
for you.
I gotta
Oh,
do it.
never mind. I
What's
was gonna
that?
be like, he said he was gonna do that. Yeah, he's gonna get to it eventually. That's just usually your go-to answer for that one.
I'm going to get to it eventually. I do need to do it. I look at that humidor every once in a while. I'm like, shoot, I should have brought my camera home for that. And then I just forget. I got to put like a note in my phone. This is what Allison does. The wrench puts reminders in her phone for absolutely everything. And she's taught my son to do this as well, which means every 25 minutes, there's just a phone sitting on the counter somewhere going, and I'm like, will somebody shut off that damn timer? And you go over and it's like, water the plants or pray for the dog or something. Like it's just a reminder for something that somebody wants to remember to do.
Feed the fly trap.
Yeah, it's my whole thing. That's my whole life now. All right. We got a couple more minutes and time for just a couple more comments before we go to the after party on Cigars Daily Plus. So I'll tell you, that's a place where you can find all of our videos. It's free and easy to join. It requires like your name, a username, an email, and a password, and that's it. You're in. But we run it on our own servers, so space is limited. Resources are limited. And so we invite you to join us there because we're going to continue this show without all the oversight of big tech deciding what's fair and not fair and taboo and okay for us to say. We're going to be heading to that in just a couple minutes after we take just one or maybe two more comments. Depends on what Billy is prepared for. Billy, what are we doing? Josue Lore. Josue, am I crazy for enjoying a relative humidity between 56 and 62%? No, I don't think that's crazy at all.
That sounds fire.
That sounds fine. Like, listen, as the humidity drops, you have two dangers. Number one, the leaf gets a little drier, so it's easier to crack the leaf. So if you find that you're cutting the cigars and consistently you're very nice, very sharp, probably a Calibri, some type of cutter, is destroying the cap of the cigars, it might be a little too dry. The other danger of lower humidities is that the oils in the wrapper leaf sort of start to evaporate. If that happens, then you're losing flavor. But I do think that that is well within the reasonable humidification level, but especially if the cigars that come out are producing an experience that is the experience someone's looking for. If that's the case, then yes, that's like perfect. That's not crazy at all. It just means that you've experienced enough to know what you like.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's one thing that is important for people to do, it is know thyself
And live your lives.
and live your lives. All right, we got time for just one more. William Vangus. How long should you let your cigar sit out of the humidor before smoking it? That depends. Dry boxing is the thing that I recommend if you live somewhere that is the climate is super dry. Wet boxing is something completely different. And so if you've got somewhere there with the relative humidity, see what I did there? The relative humidity is really dry outside. Maybe your cigars sit at 65 to 70%. And the relative humidity outside is 11%. Then you want to sit them out. I typically recommend a cigar box. You put it in the cigar box and you let it sit there for maybe a few hours. Some people leave it for a day or so. But there's no singular tried and true way to do this. And that's because everywhere is so different. If you live in North Carolina, it's wetter outside than it is in your humidor, no matter what humidity you keep it at. And so you're going to take your cigars out, end up lighting them up probably pretty quick. Hold on a second. I want to take that one. Nice. There's a lot of these. Wet boxing is apparently
We broke the internet with wet
pretty
boxing.
popular.
Who knew?
So it depends on the exterior humidity and your internal humidity. And it's like dialing the humidity inside a humidor, how long a cigar should sit outside the humidor before it's lit up. In most places, I think you can kind of dial in your humidity so that you take the cigar out, you cut it, you light it. Personally, oh my gosh, wet boxing is for your chimney hole from Jake Roberts.
Nice.
Oh boy.
All comes back to the chimney hole.
Personally, every humidor that I have, my humidors here at the HQ, my humidors at home, I unanimously take my cigars out of them. I cut them. I light them. I enjoy them. That's it. That's my whole experience with cigars. I don't ever find any cigars where I'm doing even dry boxing, which is a lot less fun. All right, guys, stay tuned for another epic episode next week. We're taking our very limited edition cigars and we're going to the after party with our fun. We're going to continue having fun there and you can come along. So come create your account on Cigars Daily Plus. Join us for the episode. Otherwise, stay tuned for another epic episode next Monday night. If we haven't been canceled by then, we'll just keep on going. Thank you all so much for watching. This is Tim and the crew signing off and we'll see you on the after party.
Chimney hole.